Tip of this training, what we are going to understand and apply the modified mode. Like some of you are saying, yes, you are HRs, you have clients who have issues. How are you going to come in and you intervene and you help these clients who have issues by using the problem-centered approach to counseling? Because we have so many approaches. Which one are you going to use so that you can be able to help that employee? We are going to look into that. We are also going to appreciate the importance of knowing the person the counselor is helping. And we say that before you start helping Flora, it's me, you have to understand me. And what is this which is going to help you to understand me? We are going to look at it as we are going to help our clients to go through this session. Then we can be able to help them to understand. We understand that person, then we see what skills they have, what potential they have, what abilities do they have, and how are they going to address the issues they are going through. It's also going to help us to understand some skills which we need to acquire. And remember, this is what makes some people say psychologists, the counselors, they read the people's mind. How do we read that? Is by using these skills. We are going to look at it. Then we are also going to understand some of the common challenges you as the helpers. When we are talking about counselors face, we are also looking at you as HR counselors. What are some of the challenges you are going to face when you are going to help these people or these employees to deal with their own issues? It's not easy. You are also going to acquire some challenges. So how are you going to look at that? Then we are also going to look at, we try to understand and we identify the mental health issues at the workplace. How are you going to identify that? How will you know that Flora, when she's sitting here with you today, she's normal? There's some things you need to do so that you can be able to identify that. So we'll be able to look into that. Then we are also going to examine the counseling process. We usually say that when you're helping a person or an individual, you don't, how do you meet? You don't just meet once and you say, I've counseled that person. That person is supposed to be okay now to adjust with the issues they have, but we are going to see how are we going to take our clients through a process. How many sessions do we need to have with these clients or with this employee? When I talk about a client, I talk about a patient. It means also as your employee, that staff whom you are dealing with, how are you going to take them through this process? We are going to look into that. Then how to lead the counselee to define the problem so that they can be able to solve it, especially when you're taking your client through the counseling process. We are going to learn that. Then there are some techniques which we are going to apply, which we are going to use. Like you have heard me saying, some of us, we have introduced ourselves, but there are others who have not. I'll not push you so much. And since it is the first time, tunawaacha tu. So maybe that is one way. When you're dealing with a client, you don't push your client so much. They have not known you. They don't know whether the issue they're going to share is going to be used against them. So which are some of these techniques which you need to use so that your client can be able to get a solution to the issues they're going to share? We are also going to look at some of the emerging issues and trends in counseling. And I know there are so many, like you are saying, there are so many other issues. Issues maybe which are work related, issues which may be domestic related, all those ones. Those are some of the emerging issues which are coming in. Then we are also going to look at how to deliver some directive by giving the clients some of the skills so that they can be able to sort out the issues. So this session, it's going to be 6 hours. Today we are going to cover 3 hours. And then tomorrow we are going to have another 3 hours, so that we can be able to see how far we can go. Counseling is so wide, but we want to see, we just have the tips, so that if we can be able to have a longer session, so that it can be able to help you to have that feel on how we are supposed to be really doing this counseling. Because this one is just giving you an overview. Then after that, if we get time, we can go in depth so that you can really know. Like someone said, even as we have issues, and before we go out there to help other people, it has to start with us. So this course, we are going to do some presentations, we are going to have discussions, we are going to have some exercises which we are going to do. We call them the personal development exercises. personal. That means it has to start with us before we go out there to help other people. That is basically about what we're going to do in this session. If you have any question and clarification, kindly don't hesitate to ask. So as we move on, please, anytime, when points you want to ask a question, just interject and ask that question. We are here to share, we are here to participate. I don't know whether there's any question before we start the brainstorming of what counseling is. Keeping quiet means, you only do from the start. Keeping quiet means, if I mix you up, it's okay, let me know. If you're okay, let me know so that we move on.
All good. We can continue.
Okay, thank you. Sawa sawa. Then let me ask this. You when you saw the HR counseling skills, you had interest. And I know we have been hearing about counseling, you've been hearing about guidance, you've been hearing about advice giving. So you as HRs, I don't know which ones you've been using, whether you have been counseling or you have been guiding or you've been giving advice or you've been giving information. But briefly, let me get from you, what is counseling? What is counseling? From the layman's, and we say there's no right or wrong answer in counseling. According to you, that's what you're telling yourself, and that's what you're telling yourself that it's right. So don't doubt yourself. And we say, I'm giving these opening remarks so that when you're in this session, you know, what makes us even to have issues is because at times we doubt ourselves. You are telling yourself, is it going to be true? Is it going to be correct? Don't doubt yourself. What you're telling yourself, that is what you're telling yourself. Just share on that and let's respect each other's views. Okay, what is counseling? I know you say, Charles, you've been applying these skills at your workplace in your small way, like someone was saying, yes, you've been doing it and you don't know whether you've been doing it in the right way. It is okay. That's why we are here, so that we do a bit of panel beating. What is counseling? What is counseling?
Hello.
Let me.
Hello.
Yes. Let me.
Flora.
Yes.
I
That's
think
Rose. Yes.
Sorry. Before I answer, I think I would like to tell my fellow participants that in a learning session like this one, we need to be participative. We need to just share, we learn from one another, so that even if that which you don't know, you ask about it. Don't fear. We should not fear, because we are all learning from one another. So we should continue being participative, and we should not fear anything, because it is a learning session for all of us. So, and I start by what is meant.
Thank you, Rose, for that.
Thank you so much. And then I want to say what is counseling, what I...
Rose anapotea? Ama amepotea kwangu tu. Rose umepotea kidogo. Yes.
Mepotea, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm saying from my own personal point of view, I want to say that counseling, it is a process of advising and guiding and directing a client, and that client in counseling, Flora, I think a client must search himself or herself and know that he or she has a problem, and then decide to seek the services of a counselor. Must present himself to the counselor so that he or she can be counseled. And in counseling, Flora, I think the counselor does not decide for the client, but the client is left alone to decide for himself or herself in counseling. I think I can talk so many things.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose. Okay, thank you for that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Hiya. Anyone else? What is counseling?
Flora,
Yes.
I would say counseling, from my understanding, is it's a kind of a therapy where the counselor provides that space to the client to be able to vent out issues, and in the process, the counselor helps this particular client to understand and to come out with solutions. Yeah, that is how I.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, what is counseling? Najua mumekuwa mukisikia hii jina. Yes, Rispa, can see your hand up.
Yes, my hand is up. I agree with Susan. Counseling is talk therapy. And because there are people who've actually in the workplace changed that to call it talk therapy. But then having said that, from a HR perspective, when people say counseling, everyone tends to move to psychological counseling. So from a HR perspective, this talk therapy or counseling is supposed to linger around career and your profession and your performance at work and anything that hinders you from being productive and being effective in the workplace. With that, I also think that unless a HR has actually practiced psychological counseling, there is a very thin line you should not cross with that. And it, when I actually saw this topic, there's always that thought of, should we even be doing this? Because when you say counseling, people move towards the psychological part.
Okay, thank you, Rispa. Counseling? Rose? Counseling? Please give your views. I know you have heard about this counseling. So what is it? Like what she has just asked. Are we supposed to have this therapy, talk therapy? Because people hear about counseling, if you are an HR, it's like they are thinking about the psychological issues, but they can talk about their career. We want to get that. Yes, Wetu? Rose is there, yes?
Flora, so in my opinion, I think it's a combination of all of those things that we chatted about. And there is a fine line between that therapist line. And I think we should not cross that because some people have more or less experience, you know, and there is, it could be damaging as well. So I tend to stay in the coaching arena more often than not. When people sort of, you know, ask the right questions and people figure out where to from here. Yeah, so a combination.
It's a combination. Thank you, Netu. Okay. Rose, I can see you have unmuted, but you're not talking. So what is guidance?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, what's guidance? See, it's okay, Rose, you can talk.
Flora, I think I talked.
Okay, maybe it's because you have not muted. Okay,
Oh,
what is
sorry,
guidance? What is guidance?
Good morning,
On
everyone.
chance? Yes, good morning.
It's a process
Guidance can be defined as you give
Rose,
directive.
wait, Hortense is talking. Okay, thank you. Yes, Hortense.
Guidance can be defined as a directive. You give directive to someone and even accompany him or her in reaching the destination you want her or him to reach. Yeah.
It's giving directives or giving direction. Thank you. Okay, guidance. Thank you for that. Guidance. Yes.
On my view, I think guidance, it's that moment when a counselor may not have that old skills or how to solve the issue, the problem, but there's a way you can still always refer. So that guidance toward the result, toward the results, how to solve the problem. So that direction, that's what I refer as guidance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Because someone will ask you, what is the difference between guidance and what is this guidance? What is this counseling? Yes, Rose.
I think guidance is a way of directing or advising someone who needs your guidance.
Rose, you are using the same word to define the same word. You are talking about. We don't explain using the same word, but thank you so much. Okay, what is advice giving then? What is advice giving? Thank you, Rose. What is advice giving? What is advice giving? Advice giving? Yes. What do you want to try? Advice giving. Advice giving. I can see Kennedy, I talked about guidance, is recommending a course of action based on a particular issue or problem on the one someone is facing. One is facing. Okay. Yes, thank you. And Caroline had said offering guidance is based on own views and opinion. Sasa wacha Caroline atuambie, is there a difference between guidance and advice giving? Okay. What I can say, because of maybe time, and this is where someone said that there's a thin line for you to know what is guidance, what is counseling. But what I can say, when we talk about guidance, by the way, when you joined this course of HR counseling skills, were you counseled, then you joined, or you were guided, then you joined? How did you manage to join this? Were you counseled or you were guided?
We were guided and then joined.
You were guided, then you joined. So the person who was guiding you, did he have any knowledge about the HR counseling skills or about the ACHRP? What was this person, which knowledge was this person having? Why I'm asking this, because I know there's something which happened or you learned about this, you came across this, that is when you decided to join this training. When we talk about guidance, guidance is whereby you are, when we talk about guidance counselor, this counselor is an expert. He is trained, he is qualified, he knows the content, he knows the information. So he's going to give you those facts. He's going to let you know, and that's why we talk about, when we talk about guidance, it's more preventive, not necessarily that there's an issue, but they can give you that information so that you can be able to use it to prevent the issue not to be there. And that is why we say when you are a guidance counselor, or when you are an HR guider, you are giving the content, you are giving those facts, you are giving that information because you know it. And that is why we say that if you have the guider counselor or the guidance counselor, this person is an expert. And when they come to talk about the issue, they know what they're coming to talk about. So we say it is structured. But when we talk about counseling, it is the client who is an expert. So here the counselor is not an expert because it's the client who has come with his or her issues. The many issues you talked about your employees are facing at your workplace. They know what the issue is. They know how they're going to handle that issue. But mostly you find that people don't want to take responsibility. That's why they run to you as HR counselors. They want to talk about their issues. But let me tell you, at the back of their mind, they know what they want to do, or they know the action they want to take, but they really don't want to take that responsibility. And in counseling, when they come to you, we are more concerned with the feelings of the clients. Yes, they're coming with facts. And these facts, the facts are about the issues they're going through. But how does it make them feel? That is where our concern is. So yours is to listen. When we talk about advice giving, you're giving your opinion, you are giving your views from your own perspective. And if it were you, that is how you could have handled it. But we usually say in counseling, we really try to avoid to advise our clients. Why? You can advise your clients and things backfire. My dear, they will talk negatively about you. They will tell everyone in that organization how you don't know what you are doing. But if you let the clients make their own decision, then they can, even if it backfires, it will not, you'll not feel vulnerable. But when you advise your client and they succeed, you'll be praised. So what risk are you going to take when you're going to advise your client? Okay, sure. So that is briefly about what counseling is, but I want us we look at this definition. I want to read it, then from there we look at it in detail. Haraka. Counseling?
No, I'm not seeing the screen.
You're not seeing the screen?
No.
No, it's there. It's there. The definition of counseling.
So someone can read it?
Where is it?
Whoever is seeing it, can you take us through it?
Counseling is a helping process that uses safety endangered by a special kind of relationship to help individuals get access to a greater part of their personal resources as a means of responding to the challenges of life. It uses specific skills and techniques in that relationship to help people become more competent, more contented, and more creative. It does not deal primarily with mental ill, but with normal individuals facing all difficulties involved in domestic, work-oriented, and social life. It is about helping people to grow in emotional fitness by McGuinness, 1998.
Wow, thank you so much. So we are going, thank you so much for that. That is what counseling is. But I want us to look at it briefly. We say counseling is a helping. Remember when you're in that session with that employee, that client, that staff who has come to you, they want to be helped. So anytime you're with that employee, remember you want to help them. It's about helping. If you're not able to help, someone talked about counseling is whereby you can be able to refer your client. If you're not able to help your client, maybe you're not qualified in that area, then you need to refer that client. But we usually say, when you want to refer your client, you are not a clearing and forwarding station. So you have at least to have a knowledge, like what the step you have taken to come here, it's going to give you a clue on how you're supposed to understand these issues. So please, if you're not qualified in that area, you refer them. That one makes you even to be more professional. And this counseling, it is a process. When we talk about a process, that's what I said, you're going to have a number of sessions with your client, whereby you're going to take them through the exploration so that they go deeper, they find out, they discover what exactly is the issue. Because most people, they come and tell you, know me, I'm confused. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. If they're confused, then they can also make you to be confused. So they have to come out of this confusion so that they understand what the issue is. They also help you to understand what issue they're going through. So you take them through the exploration stage, they go to the understanding stage, then they're going to know which action to take. We are going to look at the counseling process later in detail. Then there has to be that safety. Safety has to be engendered. Safety has to be assured. These clients, they have to be assured that whatever they're going to share in that session with you is going to remain confidential. It's going to be safe. The environment is going to be conducive. And this is what brings some challenges at times when you have what we call the dual relationship. Here you are an HR. Here you are wearing the hat of a counselor. So these employees, when they come to you, they don't really know whether the information they're going to share with you, it's going to be used against them. That is why now when you're changing these hats, the heart of an HR, the heart of a counselor, how are you going to make these employees to know that you are not going to take action against them depending on the issues they're going to share with you? But when a client comes or that employee comes, there has to be that safety. The environment has to be conducive. There has to be the issue of confidentiality, that the information they are going to share is going to remain confidential. Not that a client shares an information, then you are the one now sharing with your other colleagues. Look at Flora, the way she is. Kumbe ni mashida tu. Please, if I come with my issues to you, let it remain confidential. Do you have that environment that a client can come to you and share about their issues without the other colleagues hearing what they are sharing with you? And we have safe environment, a room, as a place where you are going to sit with these people, or even in your office that the other people not be hearing. Then if we are doing this, we have to have that special kind of relationship. If you don't have that special kind of relationship, then this stuff cannot be able to come to you. I guess, have you been into a relationship, or are you in a relationship? Please don't tell me which one, but let me know, are you in a relationship or have you been into a relationship? Na usiniambie ni gani? Are you in a relationship or have you been into a relationship? Na kama hamjawahi kuwa yeyote, you people, you need to come for a session. Yes? Have you been into a relationship or are you in a relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I can see even from Terry, yes. Okay, what made you to be into that relationship? Ni nini ilikupeleka huko? What is this which made you to enter into that relationship with that person or with that individual? What is this? I want you to give me those traits. What made you to enter into that relationship?
There was a connection.
There was, which connection? How comes you had a connection with that person, not me? So what is this you liked in that person? I want those traits.
Oh.
Yes.
He was gorgeous.
So you're talking about he was, okay. Okay, he was gorgeous, yes.
Started by having a need.
Yes.
Started by having a need.
You had a need. How did you know that this is the person who was going to meet your need? Those are the traits I want. Are you getting what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah.
Like now in this group, you are 36, but you might find that you're going to have a relationship with one. What is this which is taking you there and you are leaving the others?
Yeah, you have a list of what is lacking in you, and you find someone having that same thing that you are looking for, then you go for it.
What were you lacking and you got it in that other person, Belcher? Yes.
Personality.
Which personality? That is the one I want. Break it down for me. Yes, Joyce? Joyce, ndio umesema personality?
Yes.
Just bring it down.
Could be the person is someone you can trust, someone who compliments you.
Trust, yes. A person whom you can be able to trust. He looked to be trustworthy, yes.
Someone
where was the letter? Yes.
Someone, the person was listening to you and made you comfortable. So
a person who is listening. Unajua kuna wengine wanataka tu wapige mdomo kama Flora, but they don't want to listen to you. Yes, thank you. Prudence. Emma.
The person had confidence, the way they carried themselves.
The way they shared their views. He can defend me. He had the confidence. Yes, thank you.
They were empathetic.
They were once a year anyway. Thank you so much. Yes, there was that empathy. Thank you. Kwani ninyi amujawahi kuwa into relationship? Okay, let me ask this. I know you have been into a relationship and you came out. What is this which made you to come out of that relationship? What is this which made you to come out of a relationship?
Lack of communication.
Lack of communication. Najua tumekuwa into relationship.
Lack of trust.
Huyo mtu, lack of trust. Yes. Betrayal. Someone talking behind you, those things. So I know, like why I'm asking this, because we say that in counseling, you don't just have that relationship. Kama hiyo, some people look at the pocket, how well they are, how attractive they are. Ama nyinyi muangaliangi sura. Ni vizuri hata leo hamjaniona, ni vile so there are some things which can attract you. There are some likings you can have in this client. It's not just that relationship they are talking about. They're saying a special kind of relationship. And this one, there's one psychologist who is called Carl Rogers. He came up and said, for you to be able to help your client, you have to have that special kind of relationship. And when you're having this kind of, the special kind of relationship, you have to have what he called the core conditions. The core means main. The main things you need to possess so that you can be able to have a special kind of relationship with your clients. And one of these core conditions is empathy. What is empathy? Like I heard some of you saying that counseling is about empathy, being empathetic. So what is this empathy? What is empathy? What is empathy? Haraka haraka. Empathy? Please, if you have not talked kindly, ongea kidogo. What is empathy? Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I can say empathy means understanding and relating to someone who has a problem, like understanding his or her problem and then relating to that problem so that you can be able to solve it.
Mm-hmm. You are relating with that problem so that you can be able to solve it. Empathy, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Rispa?
I think it's putting yourself in someone's shoes and trying to understand their issue or their problem from their perspective to be able to help them or guide them better.
Wearing the client's shoe, yes. Thank you. When we talk about empathy, before I even talk about it, I lost my mother sometimes back. That time the mobiles were not affordable to the people who were not having the cash. So my mom called me and she called me on the landline. We talked. It was on a Friday evening. Monday morning, I woke up, I went to work. And I came back from work. Before I was in the house, I received a call. Remember, it was on landline. And I was told that my mom was very sick. I was told to go to Langata. Langata that time, we didn't have St. Mary's. And my sister used to live around that place. So I left, I went to Langata. When I reached at my sister's place, I found people mourning. And I was asking what has happened. I was told my mother was no more. She fell sick on that Friday evening. Then she was taken to hospital. She was to be discharged on the same day, but she collapsed and she died. By the way, mumesikia hiyo story? Where has it left you? Imewafikisha wapi?
You feel for someone as if you are the one. You feel affected like the person who has also been affected.
I want you to tell me, as I was giving that story, siku hizi naitanga ni story, but that is how my mom died, by the way. Where did you go? Mumeenda wapi? Imewafikisha wapi? Where were you when I was talking about it? How far have you gone? Ama you are still sitting wherever you are and listening? Yes? Hey people, yani nimeongea tu hata vile mamangu alikufa and you are not really there with me.
So for me, I would immediately put my hand on your shoulder or give you a hug, depending on where you were and what our relationship was. And I would automatically feel or think about what happened if I had to lose my mom, because immediately when you said those words, that thought came into my mind and I was overwhelmed by, I just wanted to start crying, right? But obviously as a professional, you keep cool, you keep calm, and you offer the support as and when is needed. But definitely an emotional response, because almost everybody has their mother or their mother has passed. So that sense of empathy is very, very strong.
So when I was talking about her story, when she called me, when I went to Langata, when I was given the information, Did it move you anywhere? Did you walk with me anywhere? Did you? That's what I want also to hear. Thank you so much, Weatu, for that.
I think it did. I was like, oh my God, that is so sad. I think I felt a heavy, how do I call it? A heavy flow of emotions. And I was like, wow. Yeah.
So Prudence, were you empathizing with me or you sympathized with me? Be very genuine.
I think both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Why am I asking this? Please don't sympathize with your clients. Someone, Terry, has told me I'm in Langata right now. Thank you so much. She walked with me to Langata. So empathy, to be able to be in a situation of the client, I guess that's what you want, situation. Okay, thank you, Pamela. So when we are putting yourself in the other person's shoes, thank you, Njoroge. So what I can say, when we talk about empathy is whereby when someone is sharing his or her issues, you can have that ability to accurately try to understand another person's experience. If you really try to understand what I was going through, then you are empathizing with me. And you have to communicate it back to me that you are really understanding what I'm talking about, like what was trying to talk about. And you always try to imagine, not necessarily that you must have lost a mother so that you know how it feels. But we say here, you try to imagine, you try to put yourself in the client's, you wear the client's shoe, you enter into the client's world, and always you try to feel as if whichever issue the employees are going to present to you, just put yourself in their situation. When they're talking about their issues, if you walked with me, you had me talking with her in the house, I went to work, I went to Langata, I was given the information, you enter into my world, we called it the phenomenological world. Now, if you are in Langata, you are in my world. But we say, try to feel as if you walk with your client, you be at the same wavelength. When I'm talking about it, you're walking with me, you're trying to imagine what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. You're trying to wear my shoe. If I'm wearing number 10 and you're wearing number 2, can you still wear that shoe and you walk with the client? Empathy, you feel as if you're the one in that situation, you feel with your client. Unaweka mguu moja in the ocean, na ingine unaiweka kwa dunia, or on land, so that you don't get overwhelmed. But when we talk about sympathy, you feel for the client and you'll be so emotional. How many issues are you going to carry of the staff? You have so many staffs. They're going to come with so many issues. You cannot start to sympathize with everyone. When you feel like you have started to sympathize, you change the gear, you go to empathy. The other condition which is going to make you to have that special kind of relationship is to have what we call the unconditional positive regard. You accept your client without you giving any condition. You don't give them the labels. The latecomer, the non-performer, the person who is always chaotic here, the person who is always very angry. You are using those terms. No. Can you accept me the way I am? Can you value me like any other human being? Can you celebrate my difference? And remember, everyone has his strengths or their weaknesses. So can you be able to accept me with my weaknesses the way I am? Irrespective of how I behave or how offensive my behaviors are. I come to work drunk, I come to work late, I don't even come to work, the absenteeism, I don't perform, I don't meet the target. Can you still be able to respect me? By the way, if you do that, this one, the client will feel like this person, na ninafanyanga vituko mbaya sana, I think is a good person. Then you're going to have that special kind of relationship. The other core condition which we need to possess is genuineness. Are we genuine? And this is why we say the real you. At times we like pretending. We like wearing the masks. We like maybe using the facades. And we usually say that when a client comes to you, or maybe you are a supervisor and you have people who are working under you. Maybe the way you're handling them and you have never been given a feedback on the same, they're really talking negatively about you. When they look at you, they look at the age and then they start asking, when is he going to retire? When is he going to be transferred? When is he going to be? But when you come and maybe David, you are, with due respect, know that that is how you are. Then they come, David, you are going to see your colleagues, your supervisors, the ones who are under you. Hi, colleagues, how is work? How is the leadership here? How am I doing it? Then they will tell you, David, you are doing very well. They smile when you leave. When is David going to leave this organization? When is he going to retire? If they look at your age and they feel like, oh, this person is supposed to retire. So that time, these people are not genuine. The same way when clients come to you, they might come with their issues, but someone will be, you might be, it's now, these core conditions are for you as HR counselors. When a client comes to you, you are smiling to them, but inside you, you're telling yourself, siatoke hapa naende, kwani mashida zake, am I the one to help them? So you find that we want the inner you and the outer you matches. If you're happy, you're happy. If you're not happy, you're not happy. This one, it contradicts with the unconditional positive regard. But we say that, yes, I'm accepting you the way you are. But there are some things, being genuine, there are some things you'll be doing which I'll not be able to condone. So you let them know. So if you're happy with them, it is okay. If you're not happy, you're telling them, this one and this one, it's not going to work here. So you are very genuine to them so that they know what you want. So the state of being, the inner and the outer you matches, but we like wearing facades. So if you have those three core conditions, they're going to enhance that relationship to be special. But we also have some of the enhancement variables which we need to add to those core conditions so that this relationship can be very, very special. One of them is expertness. When these staff are going to come to you, like someone said, you might be counseling your client or you might be helping your client, but are you trained? Are you a professional? Do you have skills in that? But now once you have these skills and you're going to sit and listen to your clients and someone will say, you know, I attended the HR skills, counseling skills, at least I have a clue. So the same way, that competence, do you have any skills? Which skills have you acquired related maybe to counseling that you can be able to sit and you listen to these clients? Have you been helpful to other people? What is the relevant education you have which makes you to be an expert? Which specialized line do you have in counseling? For how long have you been practicing? This is your seniority. Then this one makes you to be an expert. When someone comes and he tells you, you know, I've been a counselor, I graduated last month, and this is my first training I'm having with you. And another one comes and tells you, I've been doing this training for the last 15 years. Whom will you trust? Whom will you feel like this person is competent? Mutafikiria ni mugani? Whom will you take? Is it the one who qualified last week? Or is it the one who has been training for the last 15 years?
15 years.
Yeah, so you are telling yourself this person is experienced. So that one is going to make this client feel like this person is competent. Like there's a time we were doing counseling for some students who are doing masters, and when they came for a session, you know, they were coming for 25 sessions, each client. And then we did the structuring. We were going to look at those skills. We looked at structuring, and after that, I told the client, you are now free to share your issues. Akajikuna kichwa kaniambia, before we start, may I know your qualifications, the educational qualifications? And it was very specific. Anyone who has to counsel me has to have a master's and above. So they want to know, are you really competent? Do you have that educational relevance? Are you the one who is going to counsel me so that he doesn't come for the 25 sessions? Then when he goes back, he saw that that therapist was not qualified. This also, it makes you to be competent. And this is what you need to be always knowing. If a client has been referred, you get to know the qualifications which are needed so that this counselor can be able to fit into that. The other enhancement variable is attractiveness. Attractiveness is also an enhancement variable which can make a relationship to be special. What do we mean by attractiveness? From your own understanding, what is this about attractiveness and how is it going to make this relationship to be special? Very fast. Attractiveness. Hello, attractiveness. Kwani mumemute mukaenda? Attractiveness. Yes.
A pull or a magnetism of some sort.
Terry, you're saying?
It's a pull, ability to pull or to, like a magnet, have some magnetism.
Ebu, come down to my level. I understand what you mean by that. Make me understand. How is this? Maybe someone can help Terry. Attractiveness. Thank you, Terry. Tuone hii magnetic vile inafanya kazi. Miriam is saying I could associate it with how approachable you are to people. Yes, thank you. Appealing or presentable. Yes, Karen. Outlook, presentation. Yeah, the way you look and carry yourself out. Okay, thank you so much. That is attractiveness. When we talk about attractiveness, are you a person who is approachable? Are you a person who is friendly? Are you a person who is likable? You know, there's that person you look at and you just like the person. Do you have any similarity with your client? How do you have those interpersonal attractiveness or skills that when you're talking to your client, a person can be able to feel like, I think I'm on the right track. And this is what you say even in the offices where we sit. You are the bosses and you have your staff under you. Someone has an issue, they want to come and talk to you. Then they start rehearsing before they come. And it's like, Cherry, good morning. Then you say, good morning, Madam Cherry. And then you practice, today, I don't think maybe she's in the mood. Unaenda. Because, Jerry, with due respect, not that they cannot be able to come to you, but kind of you're not friendly to them. You are not approachable to them. You are not a person who is coming to their level. You are not a person, the other people can have issues and they just walk in to your office. And that is what we say when we talk about being attractive. Are you a person when other people have issues, they can just walk in? So if you find your office, the other staff members are not coming in, not that they don't have issues, not that they respect you, maybe they fear you. There's a difference of fearing you and respecting you. So please let people have, when they have issues, they just walk in, they open up and they talk about their issues. Not that they rehearse before they come to you. Then the other enhancement variable is trustworthiness. When we talk about trustworthiness, remember someone said here, clients can come to you when they have an issue. Maybe you are not qualified and you don't have this skill. That employee might come out worse from your office than when they came in. This means you might mislead your client, you might injure your client emotionally. When we talk about injuring, is not only physical, emotionally is worse than when you injure your client physically. So are you going to be honest? Are you going to be sincere to your clients? Are you going to be able to maintain that confidentiality, the one I was talking about? Or again, at times we like making promises to our clients, which the promises which we might not be able to achieve. Please, let's not promise our clients things we know that they are not going to be achievable. Remember, again, you are dealing with clients from different cultures. You have to know how to handle them. So that is about the counseling relationship. This one, we say that if we have to help our clients, we need to have that special kind of relationship, possess those core conditions and possess the enhancement variables. And when we are talking about this, let's not just look at them that we are going to use them at the workplace. Remember those core conditions, those enhancement variables, carry them with you wherever you are. Once you possess them, then they're going to help the individuals or those people you are helping to get access to a greater part of their personal resources. Remember, each one of us, we have resources, but there are some resources which are dormant within us and we are not aware about them. And this is why we say, when you're taking me through the counseling process, which you're going to look at, you might help me to tap some of the dormant resources which I have and I'm not aware. They'll come to my awareness. And I know you people, there are some talents you have, there are some potentials you have, and you didn't know you had them. But as you explored, you did that exploration, you went deeper, you discovered, you picked it and you tapped it and you're making use of it. And that is why people are praising you. You are a very good HR manager. You are a very good supervisor. You are a good listener. You are a good performer, because those were some of the resources you had within you, which you didn't know there before, but you got access to them, you tapped them and you put them into practice. And once you tap these personal resources, they are going to be a means for you to be able to respond to the challenges which you'll be facing in your life. As you sit here, do you have challenges, or you have issues, or you have problems? What do you have as you are here? Muko na mashida, are they challenges, are they issues, or are they problems? Na msiniambie all the above. What are you going through? Hello? What are you going through?
I'd like to think challenges.
You are having challenges. Yes, Nate, thank you. Remember, yes, someone wants to talk, Joyce?
Issues.
You're having issues.
Yeah, it's a mixture of so many things.
Karen? Okay. When someone comes to you and tells you, you know, me, I have some issues, I don't know what to do. And another one comes, you know, me, I have problems. Whom do you think has more things, the person you need to address first? Ni mwenye issues ama ni mwenye problems? Okay. You know, when you talk about, thank you. When you look at someone is talking about a problem, it looks so surmount. It looks like these are real issues, but they are not really problems even. These are just challenges. These are just issues. These are just concerns, which needs you to respond to them. When we don't respond to them, then they can be able to take us to distress. So that's why we need to tap these resources so that we can be able to respond to these issues, to these challenges, to these concerns, or to these problems which we are going through. And when we are doing that in counseling, if we use some specific skills, we're going to look at these skills. There are around 19. We look at each one of them. And these skills are the ones which are going to make us to communicate effectively with our clients. And then we are going also to use the techniques. We look at them tomorrow, which we're going to get from theories. Theories are the people who did research. They came up with their concepts. Then from there, they came up with the interventions, how you're going to intervene. And those interventions, you're going to use these techniques. So we are going to use them so that we can be able to help people to become more competent with the issues they have. They become more contented with where they are, tosheka with what you have. Then you start working pole so that you can be able to move to the next level and you be more creative. That's why we say you have to have plan A. If plan A fails, you need to have plan B. So you be creative. Know that this road has been crossed, that you're not going to move on. Then in counseling, we say it does not deal primarily with the mental ill. Who deals with the people who are mental ill? Who deals with the clients who are mental ill? Who deals with the clients who are mental ill? Psychiatrists. So we don't, if you as HR counselors, you don't deal with the staff who are having mental issues. And how will you be able to know that Flora has a mental issue? And by the way, even before I go there, as you are here, the 37 of us, let me say the 36 of us, are you normal? Are you normal? All of, let me not say are you. Are we normal? See, that means inclusive. Are we normal?
Each one to their own capacity, no.
Yes? No. I'm asking
definitely not.
Zipporah, are you normal? Not about the other. When you assess yourself, do you think you're normal? So each one of us, we assess ourselves. Are we normal?
No, the
Either tu
percentage
umekaa kwa hiyo
varies.
kiti, ama umefanya whatever you are doing. Ukijiangalia, are you normal?
Some days yes, some days no.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes you're normal, sometimes you're not. So when I'm asking questions, you are keeping quiet. When I'm saying we do introduction, some are not doing it. When I'm saying we are supposed to come to this training at 8:30, some came at 9. So are we normal? Okay, Caroline is saying some degree, the degree varies. Thank you. So that is why we say all of us, remember we are abnormal. It's only the degree of the abnormality which varies or which differs. So you only be able to assess your clients as when they're communicating, how the conversation is there that flow? You know, that's how you assess how a normal human being is supposed to be behaving or responding. That's why we study psychology. But we say that if you see that there is no flow in communication, the way this person is sharing the issues, unaona hapa, there's something wrong, then you need to refer them to see a psychiatrist. The ones who are doctors who can administer some medication, then once they stabilize, they can be able to come and have the counseling session. But as HR managers or as HR counselors, we only deal with normal individuals, you and me, who are facing all the difficulties involved in domestic, work-oriented, and social life. Which are these domestic issues which you think, there are many, many issues you are saying in your organizations, maybe the staff might be having, they're going to share with you, but give me the domestic issues which these staff might present to you, and then we'll go to the workplace. Let's start with the domestic issues they might present. Ni kama gani? Domestic issues. Na sisi najua, as we don't have them, but those people out there, the ones we are leading, which are these domestic issues they're going through? Hello, Ziku, let them come very fast so that we save on
Domestic
time.
violence.
Domestic violence, what do you mean about that? You know, domestic violence is so wide.
Well, sometimes even physical fights they're having with their spouses, sometimes a disagreement.
Physical abuse, good. Physical abuse. Hello, domestic issues.
Irresponsible partners.
Irresponsible partners. What do you mean by that? Major, they can be responsible in so many areas. Which area? And we say you have to be specific. Let's not work with assumptions. Irresponsible partners. How? Okay, let's move on.
Financially.
So is that under irresponsible or having financial issues is a point of its own? Okay, when we talk about financial, when you have or when you don't have, when is it an issue? Financial constraints, Diana.
When you don't have.
When you don't have, and when you have, is it an issue? By the way, look at it, even you can have it like when a shida, okay? Zipporah, I can see sick child, children. When you talk about a sick child, is it terminal illnesses or what are you talking about? David is talking about land fightings, family disagreements, marriage disagreements, domestic issues. Thank you so much. Yes. Is the divorce an issue? Kindly Rose Motesh, mute. So when we are talking about these domestic issues, there are so many. Like, is divorce an issue? Is separation an issue? Are house helps issues? When we have those, the in-laws, is that an issue? Maybe you are talking, the house helps, like maybe you're going to work, say you don't nataka kutoka uende kazini, then you also find that she has packed and she also wants to leave. And then you call your manager or the supervisor, I can't make it, my maid is gonna kwambia, wewe, jipange na mashida zako, don't talk about it. I want to see you here. Rose mute. Okay, let me mute. Rose mic is not, she needs to mute. Okay, those are some of the domestic issues, but we have not exhausted them. There are so many. Taking care of the ailing parents due to old age. Yes, that is, by the way, an issue. Kennedy is also talking about divorce, separation is a major issue, more so with the young generations. Ndio mtu anasema mimi siwezi shtuliwa, I can stay alone. Yeah, those are some of the emerging issues we are talking about. Thank you. Let's talk briefly about the work-oriented issues or work-related issues. Work-related issues ni kama gani?
Bullying at the workplace.
Bullying. Yes. HRs, what are the work-related issues? Nyinyi naona mumeona wengi because you are under the HR docket.
At the workplace.
Someone, Lorraine, you are trying something?
I'm saying sexual harassment at the workplace.
Sexual harassment. Who is being harassed, male or female?
Both genders are being harassed nowadays.
Sasa mnasema both and men have not talked. Men, do you also get sexually harassed? The men in the house. Do you also get sexually harassed at the workplace? David, Paul, Mumenda wapi? Men in the house. Do you also get sexually harassed? Remember, this is an issue, but at times we don't take it seriously. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Okay, yes. The other issues at the workplace? Nepotism, yes. Toxic workplace, micromanagement. What do you mean by that? Toxic workplaces. Toxic how? Compensation package, imefanya nini? Please elaborate to some of us, so that we can be able to understand what you're talking about. Yes? Yani hamuna workplace issues? Yes? What has happened? Yes?
Communication, maybe communication failures in the workplace can be an issue.
Communication, yes. Kwanza hii ianze kutoka juu kwenda kwa wadogo nacho katikati. Unclear targets, narcissistic bosses. Hizo mnamaanisha nini? Unclear targets, back workplace culture. You know, you need, maybe, I wish we had time so that you can be able to tell us what are all these. Kumbe hizi ni mashida. I didn't know. Bad workplace culture. Sasa hizo ni gani? You don't get promotions. You have reached the ceiling. Workplace politics. Which are these? Arrogant bosses. I know there are so many, but I wish we had time so that we can be able to chambua all those issues. So we have all those issues at the workplaces, and the clients are coming to you. They are normal. They're only facing these challenges. How do we help them so that they can be able to manage this and respond to all these challenges? And this counseling is about helping people. It's about helping people so that they can be able, so that they can be able, where have I gone? Just a minute. So that we are just trying to help people so that they can grow in emotional fitness and health. How are they going to grow in emotional fitness? This is whereby they're going to vent out. They're going to express. They're going to talk. And once they talk, it's so painful, but as they talk, they are venting out those emotions. Emotions can be about the anger they have, the fear they have, the guilt they have, the hurt they have. They talk about it. Once you talk about it, then they are going to be emotionally fit and healthy. That is according to McGuinness. I'll go a bit faster because of time. Insecure bosses, lack of career progression. Kumbe mashida ni mingi hivyo. I wish we had all the time. Please, if you get a 4 or 5 days training, you come in and you'll be able to listen. You get what the staff are going through. What counseling is not. Counseling is not a conversation. Whereby you're going to converse, you're going to exchange opinion. No, that is your opinion. My opinion is, that one is not in counseling. Counseling is not an interrogation. Kama umeanza kuwa CID, or you want to investigate, like the people of EACC, so one of them is here, then you can be able to tell us now you are interrogating. But if it's counseling, then counseling is not an interrogation. It's not a confession that you're going to confess all your sins. Kama unataka to confess, you go to church. Please, here you are not confessing. You're not supposed to be, it's not about advice giving. It's not a discussion. It's not whereby you need to influence your attitudes and beliefs of the client. Like you say, with due respect, Flora, I wish if you could have gotten saved, due respect for the ones who are saved, you will not be going through all these issues. So kind of, you want to influence me to be saved the way you are. That is what will make me not to have the issues I'm going through. Please, let's not influence the clients, their attitudes and their beliefs. You work with the client's attitudes, you work with the client's beliefs the way they are. Yes, you have yours, that client or that employee also has his or hers. It's not an investigation. Some of the major issues which we address in counseling, it can be personal growth, they can be the issues of stress management, work-life balance. Like there are some people who get workaholics. Wako tu kazi, wanabeba laptop kazini, wakikuja nyumbani ni laptop. They don't know that they have changed their roles. They have become parents or they're becoming husbands or wives. Ni kazi wanaendelea. So we need to have this workplace balance so that we can have that healthy relationship. Family issues. We have the issues of HIV and AIDS. If you're not infected, then you are affected. And this can be at home or it can be the workplace. How do we need to handle it at the workplace? How do we need to sensitize our staffs? How do we need to support them? Then the issue of trauma. Some people have gone through traumatic experiences. How do we come in and we help these clients? How do we do the debriefing so that they can be able to be aware of how they're going to get some assistance after that? You know, when a person goes through traumatic experience, they need to go through debriefing, and debriefing is not counseling, it's a first aid. We have staff who are abusing alcohol or abusing the drugs. How do we come in? Do you just interdict them? You are transferring the problem from the workplace to the community. Now you're making it even to be worse. What are you supposed to do as an HR? Disaster management, the issues of retirement. How do you prepare your staff? Do you wait when they only have 1 month and then you're taking them for retirement training? Please, these things we need to be training them in between. So how are we supposed to do it? The team building issue, so that we can bridge this gap of the seniors and the juniors. Financial challenges, how are they supposed to manage their personal financial management issues, mental illness, emotion engagement, loss and grief management. Then someone says here, you have a loss. You have lost who? Your father. When are you going to bury? Friday. Utafanya kazi until Thursday, then you go. But you, when you lose your own, from day one until after even they bury another 1 week, you don't appear. Please, let's be sensitive to the issues the clients are going to present to us. So there are so many issues which clients go through or which we address, but we need also to be able to understand this. How are we going to assist our staff? And I told you not necessarily that you must have gone through this, but you try to imagine, you try to wear the client's shoe so that you assist them. When do we counsel? By the way, when do we need to do counseling to our clients? When do we need to do counseling to our clients? I want to go very fast because time is not there. When do you think we need to counsel? Let's go to the workplace. When do you think we need to counsel our staff? Wanatakana counseling lini? Chop, 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 chop.
When there's change in behavior, like maybe someone was performing well and then all of a sudden it drops.
Yes. Thank you, Evelyn. When do we need to counsel? Hello, when do we need to counsel our clients? Akiniyo tu. When do you think, nikiangalia Flora needs to go for counseling? Flora needs a session. When do we need to counsel? Yes, Joyce.
Sometimes the employees may approach you with an issue and they are ready for the counseling. Actually, they request for the services, the counseling services.
Yes, when they come, And this is, we say in voluntary counseling. Voluntary counseling, yes. When do you think we need to counsel our staff? Yes. When do we need to counsel our clients? When employees are bereaved? Yes, Pamela, I can see that. Yes. Zipporah is saying
when the organization itself has a change.
Yes, when the organization has gone through changes. Yes. Thank you. There are so many situations or times when we need to counsel our clients. And we said, by the way, counseling can either be voluntarily or involuntarily. Like what someone has said, a client has come and they need to be counseled. Then you can counsel them. But there are some clients who have changed their behaviors. You know, you compare how they were and how they're behaving now, but they're not coming out for a session. So it is you to see how to assist them so that, or to befriend them or to lure them so that you can be able to intervene and you counsel these clients. So we can be able, when we need to counsel our clients, is when the member of staff is not performing. That is why someone said here, maybe because of the issues the staff is going through, it can make him or her not to perform. So you don't know what is making not to perform. So when you observe how they used to perform and how they're performing now. When the member of staff does not respond to any motivation, when you try to motivate them, munawawekea chai, munawawekea maji ya kunywa, you are even giving them bonus, and still there's no response. Then here you tell yourself, Apa, things are not going right. When there's marked change of behavior, this employee has some marked change in himself where he never used to behave like that, or when an employee disregards the consequences of their behavior, someone maybe comes to work when he's drunk all the time. Now, meambiwa, this drinking can cost you a job. You are going to be given warning letters. You're going to lose your job. And see the way economy is. Not bad anakuja kiwa mlevi, or he still comes to work late. These are some of the things you need to look at, those consequences. Na mtu ajali, you know, there's those people who have had now a don't care attitude. They don't care. So hapo jua, there's an issue. When they develop the emotions, that is emotional development, something very small, they can be so emotional. Who took my marker? Who took my printing papers? Who was using this desktop? You know, something very small whereby other people have been using it or you have been doing the same, but now you don't want it to happen. Those small things, they're not small. You need to be observing them. In case there's a loss and bereavement within the organization, you might lose a colleague at the organization and people take it for granted. Please, you can do that debriefing, or you can cancel the staff who have remained because they were very close. There's that loss. There's something they valued in this person. Now he is gone. Please, you can take them through that session. When there's that persistent conflict, yeah, between the staff and the supervisors, arrogant supervisors or in charge. So please, if there's something, let them have that time so that they can be able to be taken through that session. Then they get to understand what exactly is the issue. When the employees who are living with HIV/AIDS in the employment, or the employees who are being affected with having a colleague or a significant other infected, these are just a few things which can lead you to know that this group needs to be cancelled. The goals of this counseling at the workplace, and we have this counseling at the workplace. One of them is to help to improve the performance of the staff or these employees. It's also going to help to reduce the work accidents. And when we talk about work accidents, it's not only where we have the factories or the manufacturing or something like that, even when they're printing. When someone is not mentally stable, they can put and say they wanted maybe to print 10 copies, Napata mtu ameweka even 100 copies. Na zinakuja hata is not even aware that is what is happening. So it's not just in the factories, even in the workplaces. Allow the employees, when you have this counseling, to vent out their emotions. You know, that talking alone, you give them that space, you give them that environment that they can be able to vent out their emotions. It's very, very healthy. It's also going to help the employees to balance between work and family, which is very critical. Tuacha kuwekea pande moja, maybe we are so much to the family, we forget work, so much to work, we forget the family. We need to help them so that they can be able to balance. It's also going, when you have this counseling at the workplace, the goal is to reduce this absenteeism, especially through the health-related issues. And you find that mostly you find people, if you have stress because of the issues you are having, they can make you to be sick. Na utakuwa unaenda hosi, and when you go there, you don't have any illness. Unapimwa illness, nothing. This one, nothing. Kumbe you're only having stress which needs to be managed. And it's also going to help us to reduce the dependence on organization. Remember, when you are able to understand yourself, you can be able to be independent. You can think, you can reason, you can sort out some issues without you depending on most of the people when you're making this decision. That is why we need to the counseling at the workplace. By the way, before I go to the difference, do you have a desk or a unit of counseling in your organization? Do you have one? A desk or a unit of counseling? Please, Rose, mute. Rose aliweka akaenda. Rose, mute. Do you have a desk of counseling or a unit on counseling at the workplace? Do you have one? If you don't have, you say it's okay. Hi, Flora, kindly connect after the meeting. Okay, Zipporah, thank you. Yes? Do you have a desk of counseling at the workplace?
No, we don't.
Mm-hmm. Who I said they don't? Who is that?
Hi.
Evelyn or Rose? No, okay. Ni Rose, eh?
Evelyn.
Evelyn, yes, you don't. But are you saying that we really need to have a desk, or where some people have issues? What are the people are just wearing suits, eh? But if they open those coat suits they are wearing, is when you know people have issues. It's only that they don't have an environment they can be able to vent out. Spora is saying, no, we don't have. Yes, we need to have one. That is Judy. Yes. Even if you don't have, you can get someone who can come in just for counseling sessions with your staff. And then from there, you can be able now in future to talk about it. Joyce, they don't have. Pam, they don't have. Please work on it. It is very, very important. Okay. So we have, I'm not going to look at all the differences because of time. I'll only just look at the difference between guidance and counseling. And this is something I just mentioned. I'll start from guidance side, then I go to counseling, whereby when we talk about guidance, I'll start with guidance, then I come to counseling, look at the opposite of it. In guidance, I said the counselor is an expert, but in counseling, it is the client who is an expert. In guidance, whatever you're going to talk about, the presentation you're going to give, it is structured. You know, today I'm going to talk about the counseling skills. Ukileta stories zingine atakwambia, no, we do it next time. You bring someone to talk about maybe performance appraisals, performance appraisal. Someone asks another question, it's for another day. You know what you're going to talk about. But in counseling, it's unstructured. They can come up with an issue. They can just come with what we call the presenting problem. And they say, I've come here because of sexual harassment. But underneath, your sexual harassment might not be there. There might be so many other issues which they're going to talk about. So it is just going to be unstructured. You don't know what your client is going to present. Then in guidance is more of preventive, not necessarily the issue is there, but you're talking about it so that preventive measures can be taken. In counseling, there has to be an issue or a concern. In guidance, you are giving that information. Remember, I said you are an expert, so you are imparting that information. In counseling, you are sharing the information. in guidance, you're talking about facts, the way it is. You have that authenticity, you have that whatever materials to support it. In counseling, we say that you're dealing with feelings. And I just want to talk about here kidogo. Under counseling, I'm not now talking about guidance. Under counseling, when clients come to us, they talk about facts. In a story, they're sharing the story, the experience, they're talking about it, those are facts. Yours is to bring them down. They talk about their feelings. When clients come to a session, they'll be talking about the others, how Paul has made them to go through this issue, how David has made them not to have good relationship. They're talking about the others. How you need to bring them down, they talk about themselves. When clients come in, they talk about the past. Whatever has happened, whether it is a minute ago, that is past, but you need to bring them, they talk about the present, the here and now. How has that past make them feel as per the here and now? So those are some of the things we need to be looking at when we are going to be using the counseling skills wherever we are. Let me ask you this. What are some of the characteristics of an effective trainer or an effective counselor or an effective facilitator? Mungetaka trainer mwenye aina gani? Let's go very fast. Trainer?
Joshua here.
Sorry?
Joshua
yes?
is.
Yes.
He should be private and with a lot of someone with a lot of privacy.
You need a trainer or a counselor who has a lot of privacy? What do you mean by that? Privacy of which information?
Yes, someone who can be able to be confidentiality, that is what I.
Someone who can be able to maintain that confidentiality. Thank you, Joshua. Yes.
A good listener.
A good listener, yes. Good communicator, person who can maintain confidentiality, should be a good listener. That's for Miriam and the others, yes.
Someone who is trustworthy.
Someone who is trustworthy. We, hizo tu ndio mungetaka mwalimu kama huyu? Ama kansela kama huyu?
Someone professional,
someone
who gives professional and thoughtful advice.
Yes.
Empathetic.
Yes, someone empathetic. Yes. Okay. And I wish we had time. Rispa, yes?
I would want a competent person, someone who knows how far to go, what not to touch, and when to refer you to a psychological counselor or a psychiatrist.
So yes, to be a competent person, a qualified person. Yes, thank you so much. And all those qualities we have talked about, I want each one of us, we possess them, we acquire them, we have them wherever we are, so that you become approachable. Remember we talked about attractiveness? So we want characteristics of an effective counselor or an HR counselor is a person who can create that conducive environment, a person who is not going to impose his own values to the others. If we get time, we're going to look at one of the exercises. If we get the time tomorrow, a person is going to listen, a person is competent, a person who can be able to observe. You know, observation skills is very key. You can be able to observe, especially the non-verbals. They communicate a lot. A person is genuine, a person is showing that interest, patient, confidential, all those ones. Those are some of the qualities which I want all of us, we possess them from today. I don't tell people, you know, I went for a 2 days training on the HR counseling skills and I've really changed. Apana, wait for people to tell you. That's our. These are the ones we looked at, the core conditions. So I'm skipping that. Any question up to there before I move to something else? Any question up to there before I move to something else? Before I come to the counseling process, I want us, we look at skills very fast. We have like 1 hour. I'll take 30 minutes on each. Skills, I take 30 minutes, and the process, I take 30 minutes. Any question up to there before we go to the counseling skills? Any question up there? before we go to the counseling skills? Yeah, I can see here. You are very good. Mweni, I can see you have said able to take notes of body language, keen to detail. Yes, those non-verbals, effective communicator. Very clear. A person, everything is clear. Okay, thank you. Another question before we move to skills? I've said we have like 1 hour. I'll take 30 minutes on skills. There are so many, but I'll see how to condense them.
Question here from Joyce.
Yes.
So from the list that you just shared, the characteristics of an effective counselor. So does it therefore mean that there are some people who can never be counselors because their inbuilt or inherent characteristics will sometimes be very diverse from what we have? Like there are people who are not patient, there are people who can never keep anything in confidentiality. Yeah.
A very good question, Joyce. Who can respond to Joyce? Because we have some people who are so impatient. We have some people who can be able not able to listen. We say are counselors born or they are made? Yes, someone to respond. Who can respond to Joyce's concern? Yes, Diana. Diana?
Yeah, so
your hand is up. Yes.
Since this is a skill and this is a profession, we cannot really be looking at the individual characteristics of a person, but the training they go through is what qualifies them to be a counselor. So this can always be developed through training.
Okay. Thank you. It can be developed. Yes, someone wants to respond. Collins? Collins, you want to respond? Collins alikuwa anaongea ama ako kivyake. What I can say, in counseling, we say that even each one of us. Yes, David, you want to respond? David? Okay. Who can respond to Joyce's concern about the issue? There are some people who don't have patience, who are not good listeners. Do you think they can be counselors in future?
Yes, I can say counselor is made and they are not born. These are skills that are, so if an individual is patient, he cannot give confidential information. If he's taken through a training, a proper training, they can come up to be one of the best counselors if they are going through a lot of training. So mostly training come.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, Nate.
I also think it's about emotional intelligence and with a combination of maturity and experience.
Okay. The experience which you're going to get, especially. Yes, Cherry, you want to try?
Yes, I'll just add to the points that are shared by maybe just sharing my personal experience. I think that, like Nitu has said, it takes time. There was a time in life when I was not such a good listener, and one of the compliments I get now is that people appreciate that I listen, and so it's a skill that anyone can develop. We are not born with a level of perfection, but once we receive guidance, like I've learned so many new things from you today, and I'll take into consideration the things you've taught me, and I'll become a better listener. So I think it's something that it's a skill that we can develop as we go, and we grow as we continue.
Good. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Like what they have all said, we learn, we practice, and we put it into practice. That is what we talk about. Yes, there's no one who was born with it, but whatever skill you have or potential you have, it can be shaped. That's why they say that you don't hire the qualification of a person by the way, you hire a person who can be trained and they can learn and they can adapt. So that's why we say, even as counselors, even you as HRs, as you went or you joined in that profession, you kept on learning and you are becoming better and better. So we keep on learning and we practice that. So whichever characters you have, you can be able to change. And we'll be looking at some of those theories. And those theories, we say that if you have a behavior you have learned, you can be helped to unlearn it, and you can learn a new behavior and you can relearn it still. Okay. I think that's okay. Can we move to skills? These are now the ones we say that for us to be able to be competent. And when we talk about a skill, I might not go to brainstorming because of the time we have. We need to know what is a skill, who uses these counseling skills. By the way, which person do you prefer? A person who talks to you or someone who listens to you? Mungetaka mtu wa aina gani? Which person do you think you like? A person who listens or a person who talks?
I think it depends on the situation. Yeah. So if it's somewhere where I am the person being counseled, that person better listen. But if someone comes to me with a challenge or an issue, then I would want that person to just be forthcoming and talk.
It depends with the situation. So in a counseling setup, both depending on circumstances, both is important, yes. But like what you have said, it depends. If it's in a counseling session, yes, you need someone to talk to, but you want someone who is going to listen to you. If it is your session, this client has issues, give them their space so that they can be able to talk. And if you have to talk, you talk less, very little. If you want to open up and you talk much, go for a session. So when we talk about a skill, it's a competent way of carrying out a task, which each one of us we need to possess so that we can do our work in a professional way. Like if you're going to be meeting the clients who are having issues, we do it in a professional way, in a small way. In counseling, it refers to the interpersonal tools. Remember, you're going to be the two of you. Someone is going to talk, someone is going to be listened to. So I'm trying to mute them, thank you. So when the interpersonal, when you are relating with the other people, how are you supposed to communicate? And we say in counseling, we all need to possess, or we all need to acquire these skills. Once you acquire these interpersonal skills, then they're going to help you so that you communicate effectively with your clients. Okay, so if we want to communicate effectively, then we have to acquire and we possess these skills. And these skills, I said we are going to talk about 19 skills, and I'll see how I'll squeeze them within the 20 minutes I have before I go to the counseling process. I want you maybe to share with me, if you have been communicating effectively, which skills have you been using? Which skills? I want the 19 skills so that I know. Have you been communicating effectively, by the way? Have you been communicating effectively? Hello, have you been communicating effectively? Even we don't know whether you have been communicating effectively. Have you been communicating effectively? Or we have just been communicating? Yes, we have. Njoroge Milka. I try, yes. How? Okay, give me the skills you've been using. I want at least 19 skills so that I know whether you have been communicating effectively or not. Twenda rakaraka, 19 skills. You can put them on the chat or you can share them. Which are these skills? Active listening, yes. You have 18 more skills. Where you people, you have been communicating effectively. Minimal prompt, thank you.
Refreshing.
Yeah?
Refreshing.
Refreshing, yes, it's a skill, but I'll put it aside. That is Juliana.
Yes.
Juliana?
Yes, yes.
Empathy, yes. Yeah, out of 19, mumesema tatu, so we are remaining with 16. Haraka questioning skill, thank you. Nyinyi mnajua hizi vitu, eh? Focusing, yes. Good. You are trying, eh? Silence, good. So when I keep quiet, at least you know I'm using a skill. Clarity, I'll put it aside as Zipporah. Clarity.
Confidence.
Self-disclosure, thank you. Yes. Joshua?
Confidence.
Confidence, I'll put it aside.
Non-verbal.
Non-verbal, I'll put it aside.
Confidentiality.
I'll put it aside. You've given me 7 out of, yes, I can see confrontation. You've given me 8. How many are remaining? But you're trying. This is very nice. This is very good. So there are many other, yes, Neto?
Feedback.
Feedback, I'll put it aside. Not that they are wrong, but I'm coming to share about them. Kuna ingine mumebakisha? This is a bright class. Immediacy, hii mumepata mwa Kenya haki ya Mungu. Advanced level empathy, immediacy. Hizi mumetoa wapi? You people, you are good. Thank you. Thank you. At least you have tried, because most of the groups you meet them, they really don't get this. So I'll just mention a few of them because of time. Summarization. Yes, summarization is a skill. Not being judgmental, I'll put it aside. Yes, it is a skill, but inataka uiweke in one way, yeah? Yes. Patience, I'll put it aside. Hey, you people, you have tried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 of them. That is a good performance. Thank you. So let me just go through briefly on these skills so that open-minded, you and I work aside, but it's a good skill. We'll be able to share them. So under all that, we have, I told you we have 19 skills. These are the skills we are having. And I'm going to pick them randomly. I'm going to pick them randomly. Like one of the skills, active listening. Yes, Njoroge, it was shared. So active, when we talk about these skills, all these skills, we need to possess them or we need to acquire them so that our communication can be very effective. I'll start with the attending skill. I told you they don't have any order, but I'm just going to pick them randomly. So we talk about the attending skill. When we are talking about the attending skill, this is a skill whereby you try, it is a preparatory stage. We use it at the preparatory stage. We use it at the initial stage. We use it when we are going to start a session with our clients. And during this time, when you are using this skill, we say that you are preparing yourself, you are letting your client know that you are there available for them. You are there available for them. You are there, that is, you have that, your presence is there. You're going to listen to your client's issue. And then under this attending skill, we are going to look at it at 2 levels. We have the social skill, we have the physical skill. When we talk about the social skill, this is how you welcome your client. This is how you greet your client. This is how you show that kindness, that humbleness, that politeness. So when we talk about the social skill, when a client or that employers come to your office, tell them, welcome and have a seat. I know we have that culture of stretching our hands. Not every culture stretches their hand. Because of that, and you're dealing with people from different cultures, just welcome your client. If they're going to stretch their hand, you also stretch. If they are not, please don't stretch, because you might stretch, you are given a head, or someone starts kneeling, or someone starts, so because we are dealing with people from different cultures, just welcome the client and talk with that humbleness, that kindness, that politeness. The way I'm talking here is not the same way I talk when I'm in a session. You change the tone. Then under the attending skill, we have the physical skill. Under this physical skill, this is whereby it involves that ability for you to be able to communicate that you are interested with what the client is saying. You are able to be there for your client. And we say that where you can be able to observe the nonverbal of the client, physical. This is how you're supposed to sit with your client. This is how you're supposed to make your client to be able to observe you. So we use what we call the SOLA. SOLA, that is an acronym which we say you need to sit squarely with your client. You need to be in an open posture. Open posture is whereby when a client comes to you, you don't sit when you are leaning back on your seat. You don't sit when you have closed your arms. You don't sit when you have closed your feet. You know, when you do that, it's like, I'm not here available for you. That is what the client is going to say. So we say that you have to be there physically for them, and you be in an open posture. You also try to lean forward appropriately. Like, even before I continue, by the way, have you heard what Ruto has told Raila today? It was around 8:35 even. Did you hear what he told him? And it was very, very sensitive. Mulisikia? Hey people, did you hear?
No, kindly inform.
No. Even I forgot. By the way, it even made me to get confused about the class, but let's hope things are going to be better. You have not heard about it? He said, do you want to hear that?
Yes.
He said, are you seeing the way you are eager? You want to hear what Raila has been told by Ruto? Everyone wants to hear. Please talk about Hakuna Kitu, by the way. I just wanted you, the way you are eager to know. Also show that interest when a client is coming to you with their issues. Najua wengine, if you are adding something which was making noise around, it's like you want to put it off, you want really to listen, you want to hear. That is how I want all of you to be behaving when that employee comes to you, or when that individual comes to you with their issues. You be interested. You have that keenness. You lean forward. Ni kama unataka kusikia the motions, all those gossips which you want to hear. Sasa you want to hear, what has he been told? What has happened? Did you show any interest that you wanted to hear what has happened? That is what happens under the SOLA when you are leaning forward appropriately. You don't want to miss any word from that client. That is about the leaning forward appropriately. Then you need to maintain that eye contact. Remember, we are talking about the SOLA. Maintain that eye contact. Is there a difference of maintaining eye contact and staring? Is there a difference between maintaining eye contact and staring? Kuna tofauti?
Yes.
What's the difference? Eye contact and staring.
I would think.
Yes? Joyce, umepotea? Eye contact and staring? Yes, Diana. Joyce ameenda, sijui ni net. Yes, Diana.
With staring, you're just looking at a person and not showing any reaction, and actually not even hearing what they're saying, not listening, just hearing. And then for eye contact, you're communicating, like you can nod the person that you are active in their conversation, but maintaining eye contact to read what they're saying, engage the level of truth in what they're saying.
Okay, yes, thank you. So always when clients come to us, we need also to maintain that eye contact. It's kind of, you are paying that attention, You're observing your client from head to toe. There's that movement, but when you're staring, you're just looking at one position, you are showing no interest. So a client will feel like they're going to block. Huh? They're going not to talk about their issues. So please you maintain that eye contact, and then lastly, you be relaxed. When you're using that attending skill, you need to relax so that you don't forget. You go back, you lean on your seat, then you remember I'm supposed to lean forward. It's like you're doing it mechanical. And usually when we do this, we like doing practicum. We practice this skill so that when a client comes in, you move from your seat. When you're in your office, you sit on your seat, and in front of you, you have two seats. So when you are sitting behind this seat, you are a boss. So when I'm talking to you and I'm sitting in front of you, I'm talking to my boss. But when you come out of this seat, you come and sit with me there. Remember, you will be at the same level. If you really know this client needs to be talked to be listened to, even if you have that sofa in your office, you can move, you sit at the far end of each other, then the other person is talking, that person will feel like you have come down to their level. And it's not going to take away your titles. So please use the attending skill. You need to know how to practice it. By the way, I wish we can be able to get it physically. We do a practicum on that. We see how it works. Then after that, I'll move to the structuring skill. Structuring skill now, this is when counseling becomes counseling. We say when you're doing structuring, you're entering into a contract with your client. You are entering into that agreement with your client. When you're doing structuring, this is where now you and your client, you enter into a contract. A contract is whereby you're going to discuss what is going to happen in that session. What will be the client's role? What will be your role? And what are the number of sessions you're going to be with your client? And we usually say, if a client has been referred, for instance, I get a client from your organization, they are coming to me for some sessions, maybe you give me a limit that, Flora, you need to have only 5 sessions with this client. Then from there, I know I'll work with those 5 sessions. So I'll tell you, we are going to have 5 sessions together, and after that, we'll be able to see if the issues you have, you can be able to manage them. Then a client can be referred, and we don't have the limit. So you don't know the number of sessions. You will just tell your clients the number of sessions will depend with the issues you're going to present. So it's open, depending on the issues your client is going to present. And that is why we say that you talk about the number of sessions with your client. You talk about the time you're going to take with your client. Like we say on one-on-one, we at least take 45 minutes to 1 hour. If it's a group therapy, at least 2 hours or 2.5 hours, so that we can be able to have that group. We should not have too many. We should not have very few, because too many, you'll not be able to have enough time, each one of them to share. Very few, you'll not be able to have that experience to learn from one another. Like what Ross was saying, that we need to share experiences, because we say counseling is experiential. So under that structuring, that's when you will talk about also the issue of confidentiality. That is where you will talk about the limit of that confidentiality, that is not going to be absolute confidentiality. Tunawapeanga limit in case they're intending to harm self or intending to harm other people, that one will not keep it. So you have to tell your client from the start. That is about the structuring skill. Then from there, I want us, we look at the active listening skill. Active listening skill. I told you I'm just picking them randomly. Active, and each one of you, you say this is one of the skills we need all of us to possess. When we talk about active listening is whereby you as a helper, you need to have that ability that you can be able to hear what your client has said, and you can be able to recall all that the client has shared with you in that session within the 1 hour. And if you're not actively listening, then you cannot be able to do what? To paraphrase or do whatever you want to do. So you have to be actively listening to what your client is saying. Remember, if you're not going to be actively listening, you cannot be able to remember what your client is saying or had said. And here, you're not taking notes. That you say, oh, Flora Nkwaja, that is a very important point. You want to note it down. Remember, I'm talking to an HR, and it's the one noting down. Huh? Have to be very careful. So we say, please, You're not going to take any notes when with your client. So you have to be actively listening so that you can be able to remember what your client said and what they have, you can recall what you heard from the client. And when you are listening, you listen to the content of the issue the client is presenting, your story. You also listen to the level of their feeling. When a person is talking about their issue, what feelings are you able to pick? Are you able to pick these feelings like when they are expressing them? What are they bringing? What are they expressing? Is it that anger? Is it what? So you are able to listen to that. That is the actively listening, not just listening, but actively listening. Then the other skill I'm talking about it, and usually when we do this, we do practical. You sit, if we are in a training, you be either on one-on-one, and then we have another observer, so that you try to listen to the client. We see, were you able to use these skills? Which skills were you able to apply when you're counseling your client? It becomes very, very helpful. Then the other skill you're going to look at is the observation skill. When we talk about observation, you as a helper, remember I'm talking about you as an HR. Do you have that ability that you can be able to observe the client's behavior? That you can be able to pick the nonverbal data from your client? That is what we need to. And it is said from the research, actions speak louder than words. So when we talk actions speak louder than words, don't expect to hear me verbalizing my challenges, my issues to you. The most critical and the correct information which we need to get is from the nonverbals. These nonverbals, we say the body language. Someone talked about the nonverbals, talked about the gestures or those ones. And these are the ones we say under you're using the observation skill. I told you whatever you are saying was not wrong. Someone was talking about nonverbals. Someone was talking about the other issues. And I said that when we're going to talk about it. So under this observation, you need to observe the nonverbals. When we talk about nonverbals, 55% comes from the body language. None of these expressions, those gestures, huh? It comes from the body language. So that body language, those nonverbals, they communicate a lot. The tone, the voice, it's 37%. You know, there's someone who talks very low, someone who talks with louder noise. So you can see, you need to observe that, because that is 37%, which is going to communicate to you what your client is going through. So you find the body language and the tone or that voice, it has a lot, it communicates a lot. So what a person just verbalizes, ila natamuka, and they're talking about it, it's only 8%, which can be true. So you can see the right information you need to get is by you using that skill of the observation skill. And under this observation, you need to observe their physical levels, that is the physical appearance, the level of energy these clients will be using. Are they talking with low energy? Because maybe they've been drained by their inner conflicts. Are they looking at the issue they're going through as a burden? So physically, what are you observing? Then you also need to listen or to observe their emotional level. When we talk about emotional level, is their facial expressions, the way they're expressing themselves. Are they happy? Are they unhappy? Are they depressed? What level are they? And this one, you're going to get it when you are listening to your client. And also observe their interpersonal level. When we talk about interpersonal level, this is where we are saying, how is this client or this employee relating with you? Are they relating in a positive way or in a negative way? And by the way, when they're doing that, this can let you know how these clients or these employees, they're relating with other people out there. And this is where you find someone is talking to you with a lot of anger. That is how he talks to other people. Or he's talking with a lot of maybe acceptance and he's having a positive attitude. That is how he communicates with other people out there. So this is what we need to be observing, and we get to know that in that session. The other skill I'm going to look at is the reflection of feelings. reflection of feelings. When clients come to us, and I talked about this, they'll be talking about facts. They are talking about facts, but now when they talk about these facts, we need to communicate back to these clients on what they have talked about. So they talk about facts, you communicate back their feelings you have picked from those facts. So it is likened by like when you're using a mirror. You are standing in front of your mirror. What are you seeing on that mirror? You're seeing yourself there. So also in this session, when a client comes, they're talking about that story, they're talking about those facts. This is where you ask them how it makes them feel. When you go to the feelings, you have reflected on those facts and they're seeing themselves in terms of their feelings. And that is why when someone is talking about the issues, you ask them, as you're talking about this, how does it make you feel? It is so hurting. It is so frustrating. It is like, it's too paining. So they're taking you back to their feelings. They are reflecting those facts. From facts, they come to the feelings level. And that is why I told you we need to pull our clients from facts, they come to their feelings. Then, if you have any question, kindly ask. And I know I'm going very fast, but if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. Then we have another skill which we are calling questioning skill. Questioning skill, it's a powerful skill. This skill, remember we said what counseling is not. You might be having very, very good questions, but the way you are going to frame them, they are going to sound sort of you are investigating, you are interrogating, you are doing whatever you are doing. But we say when we are using the counseling skill, we need to ask these questions and they sound to be in a statement form. And remember, the way you frame your questions can make this session to be either positive or negative. So this is what we want to look at, that when we are helping our clients, we need to see how we are using these questions. And this questioning skill, it helps us to gather the information. It's going to help us to seek the clarity. Someone was talking about clarity. You have to ask, don't, like we say, let's not ask curiosity questions, but ask questions so that you don't work with assumptions. That is what we need to be looking at. But there are some questions we need not to ask our clients. Let's not ask the why question. If you ask a why questions, clients are going to run to defend themselves. They are going to maybe to find justification. Please don't ask your clients why question. Let's not ask closed-ended questions where a client can tell you, well, yes, no, okay, or not. So those are some of the things which we need to avoid when using. But we need to be asking the open-ended questions. Let me get to know a bit about you. Like when we started the introduction in the morning, we talked about ourselves, and I said, please let's see what you could like us to know about yourself. So it's like I left it open so that you can go far, or the further you can be able to go. That is about the questioning skill. Then I'll talk about the last three skills: empathy, unconditional positive regard, and genuineness. I talked about them. Yes, at that time we looked at them as attitudes. Now, at this level, we also look at them as skills. They are one and the same way. I don't know whether I need to repeat on the same, because we looked at them, how we need to empathize, that is, you work with your client, you feel with your client, you feel as if you're the one in that situation. And we said unconditional positive regard is whereby you accept your client the way he or she is. You don't lay conditions, no matter how offensive their behaviors are, and you'll be able to accept them. We don't use those labels. And I said genuineness is about you being real. Don't wear those masks, don't wear those facades. Let's not pretend, but let's be real. The inner us and the outer us, let it match. I want to give you just one question, and I'm now your client, and please, all of you, we are 40, all of you, I want you to help me. I'm coming to you with my issues, and don't tell me that you'll tell that client, I'm here. I'm coming to you, I have an issue. And this issue, now I'm coming to you as you're my HR. I have an issue at home. My spouse, he drinks, he's very abusive. There's no food in the house. The rent has not been paid. Neither school fees has been paid. Me, I don't know what to do. So as you're here, this is your client who has presented these issues to you. Which issue do you think you can start with? Mutaanza na issue gani? Umesikia nimesema vile my spouse is. He drinks, is abusive, rent has not been paid, school fees ijalipwa, watoto hawajalipiwa school fees, hata bills hazijalipwa. So which issues do you think you can start with? And I'm one of your staff. Hello? Which issue are you going to start addressing? Hello? So tulisema clients can present so many issues. So when I'm talking about these issues, which one do you think you can start with? Yes, the relationship with the spouse, that is David. So mimi nimeongea about relationship. Now which one is this? Which relationship? The abuse. Someone is talking about the abuse. So Cheng is talking about the relationship. I don't know which relationship. Did I talk about relationship? Which issue do you think you can start with? How the client, employees is feeling about themselves. I'm feeling bad, Milka. Help me. The children welfare. They want to know that the children's school fees have been paid. Okay. Aki, my clients, which issue mutaanza kunisaidia? Niko kwa desk yako hapo. I'm in your office. Please help me. Okay. My counselors wamenyamaza. So Ochenye, I don't know what you mean, the relationship with the spouse. Which you go under which issue? Did I mention about the relationship? How does bad look to you? Huh? Milk, I'm not getting it. Okay. Whose issues are these? Whose issues are these? When we're talking about this, whose issues are these? Whose issues are these? Hello, whose issues are these? Zipporah is saying peace of mind is important. I will counsel her about the abusive drunkard spouse. Once she has peace with the heart. Okay. With her man, the rest will be sorted. That is Zipporah. The employees deal with the abuse of alcoholism of the husband. And I'm asking, whose issues are these? Mimi nimeshare the issues, so they are my issues. So who knows better where you are supposed to start from? Who knows better the issue you need to address? Then I can see Milka here again is saying the client knows his or her issues. So when a client comes with so many issues to you, it is the client who knows it better. But what we like saying, under this, we say you use a skill we call focusing. The focusing skill, you say, Flora, I've heard you saying, your husband drinks, he's abusive, he has not paid rent, the bills have not been cared for, even school fees has not been paid. Where could you like us to start from? So it's me who knows better. So when you are saying abusive, kama ingekuwa wewe, ungekuwa ni hiyo. When you're talking about the children, kama ingekuwa wewe, ingekuwa hiyo. But now here, we want to look at it. Where are we going to start from? Yeah, Juliana is also saying the client knows better, then let her give solutions. Okay. Okay. When you are using, thank you. When you're using the focusing skill, it helps the client, so it helps you so that you can be able to prioritize. And when you prioritize, it's going to give you the direction. It's going to give you the flow. Not that you maybe the client will pick like the issue where I want us to start from is about the abuse. aache kunichapa mimi nitafutie watoto wangu. Then from there, the client has given you a direction. He has given you maybe a flow on where to start from, but in the process, they will again be talking about those other issues. So you need to be using that focusing skill. So when a client has prioritized, maybe it's about abuse, you have used the focusing skill, then you'll move to the concreteness skill. Concreteness skill is whereby now you let the client be specific. They talk more about this abuse. It's kind of, you want them to know at what level, or maybe at what time does he or she abuse you? So those are some of the things we say that now you make them be specific. They move from vagueness, they be concrete, they be specific, they give you more details on whatever they are sharing about. And that time you also need to be using the confrontation skill. Confrontation skill is whereby you confront your clients. You let them, like when they're having discrepancies, what they're saying and what they're not saying, you can be able to talk about them. So I think those are some of the skills I'll be able to talk about so that I can go to the counseling process before we finish our session. Is there a skill you would like me to talk about before I move to the next one? Is there a skill you would like me to talk about from the many which have remained? I know the time is not enough so that we can see maybe if I can go back to the counseling skills. This is what I wanted to show you under the solar. The solar, yes. Someone has a question?
Yeah, I have a question on focusing. Well, what if when someone has issues, like various issues, sometimes is she has even a problem of focusing where to start, where to begin. There's this scenario where maybe as a counselor, you realize that this person is focusing where he or she should not. What do we do in that situation? Do we still go for what the client is focusing regardless what we see that is not right? How do we tackle it?
Who can respond to her concern? The client has focused or they have prioritized an issue and you feel like that is not exactly what you could have started with. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Who can respond to her? A client comes and you ask them, you have given them the issues, and then it's like whatever they prioritize, unaona hapana, hiyo hata sio muhimu. Someone is talking about school fees. Afadhali anichapa, the kids are in school. And you're telling yourself, what? It is not your session. It is that client. So what you do, you listen to your client. You need to, when the client is prioritizing, they're the ones who knows mali kiatu inawafinya. You work with them at that level. And that is why we say, as you are going to explore with your clients might be picking some of the skills, or they understand where the issue is coming from, and they might start looking at things in a different way. But let you not decide for them. Work with them, work with their values, work with their attitudes, work with their beliefs. Let's not impose our own values to our clients. But as you move on, they are going to look at things in a different way than the way they started in the start. Okay?
Okay.
Another concern? I was asking whether under those skills, if there's a skill I need to look at before we move on. Someone is talking about immediacy. Emma, when we talk about immediacy is a skill which we need to use in that session. At times, a client can come and the way they are behaving or conducting themselves, you see that they are not behaving in a right way. If there's anything which is going to affect your counseling relationship with your client, and the way they conduct themselves, the way they are talking to you, the way they are behaving in that session, and you feel like it's not a professional way, you need to address it immediately. We call it the here and now. When they are talking, you might find maybe the way you have put your seats and you are using the solar, like the solar here. I just want to share it. And we say that you have arranged your seats in a way, then you find this gentleman. Among the two, who is a counselor? Who looks like a counselor? Among the two, who looks like a counselor?
The lady.
The lady.
The lady, yes. So you find that this gentleman, thank you so much, this gentleman, amesola, okay, if you know clients can sit in whichever way they want, but you find this client, ameanza now the way they are seated, stretch their feet towards this client, na amekaa hapo. If she's a normal functioning lady, she cannot sit there for 45 minutes and then amwambie, John, we say, next time, don't stretch your feet the way you did them. You address about that issue immediately. Or a client comes with a female, na amekuja in a miniskirt, when they are sitting, you are seeing the way they are and you're telling yourself you're not comfortable. Please address it. The way you're sitting, I'm not comfortable about it. So that lady will continue pulling that skirt mpaka mwisho yake or that dress mpaka after the session. When she comes the second time, hata behave the same. So you bring to the awareness, because we're seeing it is affecting your professional counseling relationship with your client. That is when you use the immediacy skill. I was asking another skill before I go to the counseling process briefly. The others, I wish we had time so that we can be able to do them. And then when you're now doing the practicum, when you're doing the practicum with your client, we usually say that like this one. Okay, this one is like this child, the seats have to be similar, but this child angesonga kidogo, but you can see how this lady is sitting, how she has put her arms. Ameziweka on the lap, and she's leaning forward. She's using the observation. The feet are open. She has not closed them. That is when you're using the solar in appropriate way. So I want to go back to the counseling process. Unless there's a question on skills, I know I've not covered all the skills. Like we have the self-disclosure skill. Self-disclosure skill is when you are disclosing your personal experiences, which are similar to what your client has shared. You know, someone can bring an issue as they're talking about it. You as an HR counselor, you have also gone through a similar issue. We remember we said you don't advise your client, but when you are using the self-disclosure skill, it's kind of you're advising your client. You are sharing your personal experience, not the experience which your cousin, your brother, your relative, or your friend went through. It's your personal. And that issue, ni kama photocopy of your issue with that client's issue. So you are telling your client, this is what I went through, this is how I dealt with that issue, and this is how it has helped me. You be too brief. And it has to be similar with that. And remember, when you're sharing that experience, your client doesn't have an obligation to maintain confidentiality. So you have to share an issue which the issue you have dealt with, which you don't have unfinished business with it, you talk about it. Kama hujatatua hiyo shida, it will be the talk in your organization. But if it's the issue which you have dealt with it, even if you hear people talking about it, it will not make you feel vulnerable, then you can share. But if you feel like, yes, you have a similar experience, but that issue you have not resolved it, then don't use the self-disclosure skill. Those are some of the skills which I had to look into, but I know there are some which I've not talked to. And that is why I was asking, is there any skill you would like me just to mention before we move on? Can I move on? Can I move on?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. And we are supposed to stop at 11:30, but can you give me extra time so that we can be able at least to, I'll just mention how now we are supposed to help our clients. Remember we said counseling is a helping process. That is where we are. Let it be at 11:30, then we see maybe how many extra minutes you can give me so that we can complete today's presentation. So, and remember we said counseling is a helping process. And we say this process is a systematic way of doing things. And we say that it is not just one touch that you have and then you tell yourself, I've now been able to manage the client's issues. We say in counseling, process, it has stages. And one of the stages is the exploration stage. Okay, please consider some of us are at workplace and have meeting scheduled at 11:30. Okay, we'll be able to see. Let's see how far we can go. Let me go very fast so that we can see what we can do by 11:30. Thank you. Thank you for that. Then, when we talk about this counseling process, as I told you, when clients come to us, they are coming to us so that we can take them through the exploration, so that they can be able to articulate what they're going through, their issues, their concerns, and how are they going to articulate that? They'll be talking about it. They'll be able to find, as someone is articulating, you'll be able to find the hidden motive. You're going to pick the feelings of the clients, their thoughts which are coming to their mind. They're also going to be helped so that they can be able to pick or to gather the information which they had pushed from their awareness to their consciousness, so that when they'll be talking about it, they'll be exploring, it can come to their consciousness. So remember, they have been pushed. Whatever you have gone through, experiences you have had, you have repressed it. So when you have repressed it, as you'll be helped through the exploration, you'll be able to retrieve that information. So us as helpers, we need to create a conducive environment so that this client can be able to feel free to talk about their issues. So the client's role is for them to be willing to share their story. What is this which is going to make the client go deeper and talk about their issues? One of them is you have to establish a working relationship. And how are you going to establish a working relationship? Is by you using the core conditions and using those enhancement variables. The empathy, the unconditional positive regard, the genuineness, expertness, attractiveness, and the trustworthiness. When you have that, you're going to establish that working relationship. And something else which is going to help you to go through this exploration is whereby you are going to seek clarity and you really define what exactly is this employee problem is. You have to seek clarity, and we say that you don't work with assumptions, but you find the clarification. That's why we say whatever you're not really understanding, whatever you're not getting what your client is saying, you take it back to them so that they can be able to explain it and you understand it. Remember, they also come when they are confused. As they are confused and you're asking this clarity, they're defining what exactly the problem is so that you don't deal with the symptoms, then you can be able to help this client. And that is why I said you use the core conditions, you clarify what the problem is, so you look at how they are viewing themselves, who else is concerned with this issue they are coming in with. Then you also need to make an assessment. When a client comes in during the exploration, you need to gather some information. You need also to understand what issues or concerns both of you are addressing so that you sing the same song. Don't work with assumption. You might be working with something different and the client is working with something different. You need also to establish how are these clients viewing themselves. Remember, you're doing an assessment and this is under exploration. What you care about their issues. How are they seeing themselves? Are they looking at themselves as victims? Are they looking like they are so helpless? They are so hopeless when they are sharing this? Also, look at also what is their belief, what is their experience, who else is concerned with the issues they're sharing in that session. Also, we call the assessment tool by Susan Gilmore, whereby when clients come to us, you can assess them. And when you are assessing them, she talked about the 3 dimensions. And these 3 dimensions, is it about work? Is it about identity, or is it about relationship? So when someone is sharing about their issue, are they talking about this relationship? Is it related to work, or is it about identity? And when we talk about relationship, who is this they're talking about? Who is this they're talking negatively about? And who is this who is there for them? Then you can be able to know that the issue of the client is more concerned about the relationship. And when she talked about work, that is Susan Gilmore, when she talked about work, Work is how you spend your 24 hours. How do you spend your energy? How do you spend your resources at your disposal? How do you spend your time? And this is why someone says, you know, I have a lot of work, I've not done ABCD. Then you know this client, the dimension which is disturbing them is work. Then we have the identity, which you also talked about. This is the labels we are given, how we identify ourselves, how we are known, and how people describe who you are. So this one is also like people like talking negatively about me, that I'm not cooperative, I'm not. So, you know, it's the dimension of identity which is disturbing them. So this one also has a lot which we need to discuss about. And under that exploration stage, this is when you negotiate a contract. This is now when counseling, you come up with that contractual activity, you come up with that agreement, and you talk about it when you are in that session. Nothing else is offered here, no favors, no friendships. It's about counseling, so that you don't enter into another relationship which is not a beneficial relationship to the client. And to conclude, there's what we call Johari's window. This is a very good, remember we talked about personal experience, personal development exercise, whereby we have the Johari's window. This is a window whereby us as individuals, there's that information we are aware about ourselves. It is known to others, and it's known to self. I know like what people know about me. I'm a female, I'm hardworking, I work at this place, I'm an HR. Those are things people know. But we also have this one window here. It's known to others, and it's not known to you. This is blind. You as a client, there's some areas you are not aware about, but other people can be able to pick it. By the way, I used to use this at my workplace, and I told my boss, like every time we are having time, we want to work on the Johari's window, especially on the blind spot. You give the positives of your client and what they need to work on. Those are the negative side. But at times people personalize that, but we usually say that, please, for you to grow, accept to be given feedbacks. And the facade, whereby we talk about the hidden self. These are some confidential information which is known to you and is not known to the others, but you know it. We want you to talk about it so that you can be able to reduce this window. The unknown self, it's neither known to you, neither known to these clients. We want to help these clients so that they can be able to reduce all these windows. Then from there, this is an exercise we need to be doing, and we give feedbacks to one another, which is going to help us. Then from there, you'll go to the understanding stage. Understanding stage, this is where now you reach and you tell yourself, oh, nishajua. Now you have gone deeper. You have started to look, you have started adjusting your frame of reference, the way you are doing things. That is why we say they can prioritize. But it will reach somewhere, they are going to adjust their frames of reference and look at things in a different way. And this is whereby you journey deeper with yourself, that is the client. And here we need to continue helping our clients. So I'll just go to the action stage. This is where we try to help our clients so that they can be able to decide on what exactly they want to change, and they implement that change, and they transfer that change, and then you end the counseling relationship. That is about the counseling for today's session. I guess I'm going to stop there for today. Any question, any clarification, any input? Yes. Any question up to there? I guess that is where we are going to stop for today. Like I've really gone very fast because of time. So tomorrow we'll start with the theories. These are the philosophies of counseling. We are also going to look at the ethics, and we are going to look at those other, the mental health tomorrow too. I'll be able to look at them. Any question up to there, any question and clarification? Sherry is asking whether I'll share the slides with us or the notes. Yes, they are going to be shared by the ACHRP. You'll get them. Okay, I was trying to rush because some of you say that you're going for a meeting at 11:30, and it's exactly 11:30. How was today's session, and what do I need to work on for tomorrow's session so that it can be better than today, and be genuine? We say that when you're given feedbacks, remember this is the blind window. When you're given those feedbacks, they help someone to grow, to be better. So how was today's session? How was today's session? Yes, Grace, very insightful, thank you. How was today's session? If there's some things I also need to work on so that tomorrow we don't get bored like today, it is okay. It was very informative, thank you, Caroline. Yes, just give feedbacks the way you have seen the session, you have had the session, and we want you to be better. And I wish if you get a whole week training, by the way, when you come out, you look at things differently. You share your personal experiences so that when you go out there and someone else shares, you'll know it will have an impact. Diana, it was enlightening. It was very informative. Thank you, Mweni. Thank you, Diana. It was very informative. Yes, Mary. Thank you so much. Very good indeed. So much you did not have adequate time. Yes, thank you. Joshua, thank you. We could like to see you tomorrow. Yes, I will. Hope your video will work. Thank you. I'll try. Very informative session. Thank you, Joy. So please tell me also what I need to work on. When we are giving feedbacks, especially on the blind spot, yes, you're giving the positives. You also need to let me know what I need to work on so that tomorrow can be more informative than today. Yes, Diana, let us have more case studies next time. I have learned today, yes. And that's why you saw it's good, you're giving the feedback, but because of time, that's why I was saying, I wish we can have longer period to share this, people to share the experiences, the challenges they have been having at the workplace, how they handled the cases and how they were able to manage them. Yes, Evelyn, informative session. I've learned today how very good engagement, include some scenarios, good. Was someone insightful. And that is why I say that, please, we need to have longer time to discuss. Like someone was saying, I got this client, I didn't know what to do. This is how I did it. Yes, Mweni, Councillor Flora Santisana, having gone through a very deep time of grief, I'm getting this very important from these platforms since I could not forget it, afford it financially. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam. The session was so informative. More of these sessions should be scheduled in future. Thank you. And remember, when you're going through grief, please talk about it. It's painful, it hurts. Like I never used to talk about my mother, but squeezy become a story. So please talk it, let it be painful. If you had a video, watch it. Listen, watch those pictures which you took. They will hurt you, but within 1 month, you'll be okay. You'll be talking like a story. Mamangu squeezing story. Susan, very informative session. Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to meet you tomorrow. And theories are many. This is where we need to have those scenarios we share, but I know time will be limited, but I'm trying to squeeze so that we can just have a feel of it. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you. Looking forward to meet you tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you too, Flora.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good day. Bye.
I'll work on this video so that you also have like, I was
Thank you,
teaching my
Flora.
clients after training. Mwingine akaniambia, you were looking familiar. Na tulikuwa tulifanya online. So when I visited the offices for the sessions I was going for, is when, oh, no wonder you trained us on the Zoom. So at least you have the picture. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time. I'm not taking it for granted. Please come tomorrow, we continue.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.